rear tire just sort of obliterated after, let me see, was there contact with Brian Thenis? Yes, there was.
Ooh, ouch.
Ooh, not a bright move going into turn one. That's not the first time I've said that today, Jeremy. As Bryce Miller made a lunge, Thenis had no idea that the 34 car was there, and it resulted in a large piece of bodywork dislodging itself and then semi-disintegrating, flying over both the 17 and the car right behind them, which is the number 39 LB Cup contender of Dustin Farthing. He's currently second in class as Dustin. A good run for him, but it is his business co-owner, Ryan Hardwick, in the number 2, who continues to lead in the LB Cup. Yuki Hirata in the 55, leader in the AM class. And then it is Austin Versteeg with the lead in Pro-Am, being greedy, going for the overall lead, trying to get around Andy Lally. Good luck with that, son. Might take you a while.
Yeah, on that last lap, Trent Hinman did reduce the deficit to the race leaders by 2 seconds. So, yeah, it's just about got time, hasn't he?
He's going to get there. And see, this is when I would be a little bit nervous, because who's on the pit box for the number 1 but Max Angelelli? He knows a thing or two about catching back up to a battle and how to get around it.
And last time around for Trent Hinman, 144.8, so within a couple of tenths of a second of his own track record. He is flying.
Bryce Miller into the pit lane. Is that a drive-through? Yes, it is, as I can hear 620 horses being released off of the pit lane speed limiter. Andy Lally continuing to just go away to Austin Versteeg.
And he's not listening, is he, Austin Versteeg?
Austin's gone temporarily deaf. He can no longer understand English, I think you might find. Andy might have to start using other language. There is Trent Hinman, and oh man, he is wrangling the neck of that number 1 Lamborghini, the Prestige Performance car, in its very distinct colors. The 16 Change Racing Lamborghini also wearing its uniform colors. It's just that of Austin Versteeg that really stands out. DXDT do not have a uniform color, so Austin Versteeg went as bright as he possibly could. Andy Lally, though, ignoring that large, looming, bright highlighter orange car in his rearview mirror.
Battle developing for 5th, 6th, and 7th as well. Alex Popov has number 10 car in 5th place, but Ashley Freiberg is closing on him, and Dion von Moltke is closing on Ashley Freiberg as well. That's numbers 10, 30, and 11, heading through probably turn 3 now in that battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Dion von Moltke and Alex Popov, former teammates at TRG, as Dion manages to get around Ashley. And now he sets his sights on a guy he knows very well, having raced against him for many years in the old American Le Mans Series days. For Alex Popov, it's a new experience racing with a roof over your head. He's done a bit of it before, but still coming into something as powerful as a Lamborghini, having won the Prototype Challenge Championship last year, he's still a bit accustomed to doing driver changes by you jump in one side, your co-driver jumps in the other.
Another great lap there for Trent Hinman in 3rd place at 144.8. So 1.8 seconds on that lap. He closed in on the 2 race leaders. He is absolutely flying. That's 3 laps in a row. We're within a couple of tenths of his fastest lap of the race.
He can see them now too, Jeremy. I mean, it's hard not to see the bright orange car of Austin Versteeg, but he knows that he's getting closer. He knows that he's doing exactly what he needs to. And we're now 9.5 minutes remaining in this race. The leaders are tethered together, and that black and blue car just lingering behind them.
Tell you what, the message has got to Andy Lally, because the last couple of laps he's picked up his time a little bit, picked up his pace a little bit by around about a half a second. 46.6 on the previous lap, 46.5 this lap. I think that's Andy's best lap in that car. There's a spin for Jeff Burton, who is, well, he's now a lap down. He was on the verge of going a lap down. And that battle continues. He doesn't impact anybody else.
No.
That's good news. So now just 3.8 seconds is the gap from the 2nd place car of Austin Versteeg. Here he is coming under the bridge, trailing Andy Lally by, well, less than a car length. And behind them, Trent Hinman is closing in.
And Versteeg now knows that Trent Hinman is behind him, because even though Trent's car is very dark and looming, he still knows it's there. The headlights are shining. You have to wonder, when does Versteeg start to press the headlight flash button, start to really annoy Andy Lally to try and get in his head? Or are the crew guys on the radio saying, hey, That stuff doesn't work. He's Andy Lally.
Yeah, exactly. Ain't going to work with Andy. He's been around this business far too long to fall for anything like that. And you know, he's twice the age, isn't he?
Andy Lally just hit a huge shard of carbon that was left in the middle of the road from that initial contact. Not sure how it got moved so far over onto the racing line. He tried to avoid it at first, just juking left and right, but there was no getting around that. Versteeg managed to stay clear of it because Lally took the brunt of the force.
So inside 8 minutes to go now. There's going to be certainly at least 4 laps, possibly 5. And the gap from second to third down to less than 3 seconds.
Well, almost 2 seconds. It was 2.9 when they last exited Sector 2. When they exited Sector 3, it was 2.1 seconds. And the interval between Lally and Versteeg just stretching and then closing, a bit like an accordion being played. As now it's reading 0.4 of a second between those two leading cars. Doesn't matter, though. It's about to be a 3-way battle for the lead. Trent Hindman, who had a potential win snatched away from him already once today, will not be eager to let that repeat. I think that would be the stuff of nightmare for Trent.
Yeah, boy, this is an intriguing contest, isn't it? It really is, because Andy Lally, he's only had one race weekend before, actually a couple of race weekends. He had 3 starts in the championship back in 2015. He drove at Watkins Glen and rode Atlanta as well. And 1 win, and started in the pole in that race at Road Atlanta as well. That was the first time he ever drove the car. So yeah, all right.
Consulting Jeremy's book of knowledge, these stacks of notes, as Andy Lally, again, it's almost identical. Every time they come to the end of the back straight, the gap between the 7 and the 16, Austin Versteeg just can't figure out a way to get around Andy Lally. And he's not the first person that this has ever happened to, but now it is an issue. He must look in his rearview mirrors. The number 1 is here. 1.1 seconds the last time they crossed a timing line. Now it's down to half a second between Austin Versteeg and Trent Hindman. The 1 has entered the picture and is now going to be pressuring not only Versteeg, but Lally.
Yeah, it was 2014 he made his debut as left the door open there.
Bold move as Austin Versteeg dives down the inside of Lally and makes it stick as they come through. Lally gets very loose, tail slapper. Hindman is through as all of a sudden Lally goes from first to third in the span of 2 corners. Oh, he won't be happy with that. 5 minutes to go, just about a little bit more. Andy Lally just threw that away.
Yeah, 1 slight lapse of concentration. That's all it took.
A rare slight lapse of concentration for Andy Lally as the 30 has come into the pit lane. The right rear has been removed, and they are going to look in there. That is the end of a chance of a podium for Ashley Freiberg and Brandon Godovic, as the 88 Paris Mullins is off deep in the woods. Car does not appear to have made contact with anything. There is a break in the tire barrier, actually where it stopped well short in turn 15.
What happened there for Andy Lally? That was really weird. Seemed to lose a bit of momentum going into turn 3. Austin Versteeg dived down the inside. Really good move by Austin, and then he squeezes Andy Lally wide on the exit. That was a veteran's move.
It was. And Andy Lally, who did a bit of dirt racing there, trying to get the car back onto the circuit, just lost all grip. And Trent Hindman gave plenty of room to the 16 rejoining, did not want to be taken out. 30 has rejoined the race, by the way, as the 88 is still sitting off turn 15. Well off the track. I don't know if we stay green for the rest of this, Jeremy.
That was a lot faster lap for Austin Versteeg, having cleared Andy Lally, despite the fact he actually made the pass on that lap. He was able to turn a lap of 146.0. Before that, they'd been lapping in the mid to late 146s, so he picked up more than half a second, despite the fact he also made that pass on the lap. So a great lap by Austin Versteeg, but he's got his mirrors absolutely full of Trent Hindman. That was a big impact, wasn't it?
Paris Mullins was a passenger as he left the tarmac on turn 15, hit the tire barrier with the left rear of the car, but he did manage to get it pointing back in the right direction and moving again. He has continued to circulate. 3 minutes, 20 seconds, just under to go in this motor contest. And Austin Versteeg now has to worry about Trent Hindman, who wants a win. And to be frank, the way he has driven this race, Trent Hindman deserves it.
Yeah, but Austin Versteeg, he's had 3 second-place finishes overall. He's got 3 Pro-Am wins, but he wants that first overall win.
For Austin Versteeg as well, coming from a series last year where he was getting overall wins, that would be another nice mantle to have. JC Perez fighting for the LB Cup second position with Dustin Farthing, trying every trick he can in the book to get around the black and green car. JC Perez, no luck as they exit turn 1, but he's not giving up yet. His left-hand turn signal's actually on. I wonder if that's his way of signaling to Dustin Farthing, hey, I'm going to pass you on the inside. Oh, as Farthing cuts across the nose of Perez as they come through the inlet section that just gave Andy Lally such trouble a lap ago. Can't make the pass before they start to head up the hill.
1:45.40 last lap for Austin Versteeg. That's within thousandths of a second of his best lap of the race. He's really turned it up in his efforts to hold on to that victory and fend off the attack from Trent Hindman.
Yeah, but it's down to half a second, less than that now, as the two cars come out of that opening complex of corners. They're now heading up into the section of the track just before the S's, the long straight where you've got time to think about keeping your foot flat to the floor for those S turns. The right side, the left curb, hit it on the right side again, keep all 4 tires on the ground. They do you much better that way. Trent Hindman, though, gosh, he's driving like a man on a mission as they come into the braking zone for Oak Tree. Don't miss your mark. Austin Versteeg goes wide through the first apex, but nails the second one. And Trent Hindman got a better exit as they go on that very long straight, Jeremy Shaw, around the backside of the track.
He's tucked in behind him, isn't he, as they head along Madison Avenue towards the roller coaster. Is he close enough to make a pass at the end of the straight? I don't think he is.
I don't either, as there is quite a bit of a gap between the two cars going into the first left-hander and then hit the curbs on the right. Oh, but Versteeg manages to roll just a little bit less speed than Hindman through the first complex, the left-hander. Versteeg, though, got it out in the right side.
It'll be white flag this time around.
Oof. All right, Jeremy, who's your money on?
Well, I think it's on Austin Versteeg. He's done a beautiful job to maintain the lead under intense pressure. He was pressuring Andy Lally, wasn't able to make a pass, but he's driven a really sensible race, and now he's got 3¼ miles to hold on to that advantage. If he can get through that 3¼ miles, probably 3 miles now, without making a mistake, win number 1 overall will be Austin Versteeg's for DXDT Motorsports.
He's got about 1.5 minutes left to go, and then he can breathe again. Lets off the gas. There's a big burst of flame out the exhaust as he downshifts. A little bit of rich fuel being burned that was left in the system. That will not deter Trent Hindman, though. He already has a win in Pro if he stays in that second place, does Trent Hindman, but he doesn't care about that. He wants the overall win.
This would be the first overall win for DXDT Motorsports as well.
Oh, wow. No pressure, Austin. Keep your head down, focus forward, just keep going. It's a good thing he doesn't have a bright car in his rearview mirror, eh, Jeremy?
Yeah, another great lap there, 45.6 last time around, so within a few tenths of a second of his best lap, and after 50 minutes of racing, these Pirelli tyres have been put through the ringer, but it's still Austin Versteeg who leads onto the back straight for the last time.
And he does his personal best Sector 1 time on this white flag lap. It's about 1/10 slower than the time that Trent Hindman set, so Trent reeling him back in a little bit through that first sector, but Austin doesn't care. He's got a handful of corners to go and sets the overall best Sector 2 time for the last lap. The fuel has burned off, and Austin Versteeg clearly feeling that his Lamborghini is better than everyone else and has never felt more comfy. They come up over the front straight, which is not really straight, but it doesn't matter. Austin Versteeg at this point can see the checkered flag, takes his first overall win in this series, Pro-Am win as well, and it is a Pro win for Trent Hindman. Had to serve a drive-through penalty, didn't matter. He still managed to make it back to a class win and second overall, and what could have been for Andy Lally and Richard Antonucci.
Yeah, they didn't have the pace in this race to contend with either of those two in the latter stages. So it was a brilliant drive by Austin Versteeg. That really was for one so young, relatively inexperienced. This is his first season of driving with a roof over his head, but you wouldn't know it because he drove that race like an absolute veteran. He pressured Andy Lally really into a hint of a mistake, made the pass, and then no hint of a mistake for himself, and to turn his best lap on the final lap of the race, that really just lays it down. Shows what he can do. He's got a big future ahead of him as Austin Versteeg.
And congratulations to Yuki Hirata, who comes through to take the checkered flag, his third consecutive win in this series. First time to VIR, first trophy of the weekend for Yuki Hirata. And now we wait for the LB Cup. Right now, JC Perez is in second in that category. He did get around Dustin Farthing, but he doesn't have anything for Ryan Hardwick, taking his third win of the season in the LB Cup. Had a bad weekend the last time we were out at Road America. Has completely made up for that, starting out strong this weekend.
He certainly has. A fine performance by Ryan Hardwick there, and JC Perez having found a way past